Yeah. All right.
Cool, let's do it.
Awesome, let's do it.
Get me.
Hey guys, what's up? Abby here from Safari Pedals. I am in Santa Monica, California with Thomas Warren.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm Thomas Warren. I'm a mixing engineer and recording engineer.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for coming.
I really appreciate it. So before we turn the camera on, you had mentioned something interesting about kind of your journey as an engineer, that you came up under producers.
Yes.
I'd love to hear more about that.
Yes. So I came up under the producer Stargate. So the interesting thing about that is I got to watch them just, work their magic and go from the very beginning of the production elements. So I feel like working with them closely, I developed like a producer ear. So when I mix, I approach it in the way that I feel like a producer would. I try to keep their elements a mix and things like that. And then obviously my nerdiness comes out, and you really do the things you do to make it elevate. But yeah, I feel like that's kind of the flair I get, is like having the producer ear, which a lot of people compliment on.
When you say producer ear, if I understand correctly, it's kind of like respect to the rough mix, in a way?
I feel like it's more of honoring what they do. And just understanding their decisions more than just being like, oh, I'm a mixing engineer, I can make this sound better. It's like more about, well, let's really see what they're doing as a producer and let's just try to really roll off of that. I feel like that's where I try to keep everything and, kind of my vibe.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. As a producer, respect.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
Yes, I feel like I always have to put the producer first,
Yeah. Being in California, I'd love to hear how being in, I'd say the music capital, you can say, of the world influences the work that you do, your sonics and all that.
Well, I feel like we're just always evolving here, so it's constantly staying up with the new things. There's always somebody new coming up, there's always new producers, or I don't know, I feel like sound is just made here, so I feel like you just got to stay with the times. But, I feel like I'm always learning from people here, and that's just constant, I'm not boxed in, so that's what I think about being here. And there's just constant workflow. Yeah. I mean, it's never ending, so.
Maybe it was more defined in New York or Atlanta, where there was a New York sound or an Atlanta sound. Would you say that there's a Cali sound or approach?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I feel like in the hip hop here, you kind of do have an influence that has a Cali sound to it. But I feel like more of the stuff I do, the pop stuff, it's very just polished and very clean sounding, and a lot of auto-tune, but it's it's pop stuff. That's how I feel, yeah.
Yeah, vibey auto-tune.
Yeah, I think so.
So you would say kind of polished and with the time, that?
I would say polished and with the time, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, I love the melody. I feel like that's the thing that I chase out here the most, is I feel like California, you really have a lot of that top 40 kind of melodic stuff, which I really like.
Very different than New York and Atlanta, so it's cool to get to hear what makes your scene
Well, it's funny because after I went to the conservatory in Phoenix, I went and interned in New York, and I worked at Quad Studios and Premiere Studios, and there was just all hip hop. And so I was going in at 11 p.m. and work until 10 a.m.
Wow.
So that's the other thing that's different here. We don't do that usually.
How was that for you? Kind of doing
I actually liked it. I mean, I got to work with cool people. I worked with Prodigy, worked on the Joey Badass, the first album he did, the 1999 stuff, and I don't know, it was cool, but it was exhausting, and then I got a taste of a pop session. I was like, oh, we can work from 11 till 7 p.m. I was like, let's do this more,
Heck yeah.
So then I came to LA, and that's when I went to Westlake Studios and did the whole round through them, and then I met Stargate.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, it was really cool.
At the end of every interview, I've been asking everybody a dumb question to get their take. And by the end of the series, we're going to find out, does pineapple belong on pizza?
I like it.
So that we'll go with a yes?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, guys, it's pretty neck and neck, so
yeah,
we'll find out by the end, but appreciate you having me over.
No, thank you for coming. It was awesome.
You on my mind a lot. Don't need no time watch. I don't know how I got you.
We are continuing the video. I'm here with Zev. What's up?
Great to be here.
So before we kind of dive in, I'd love to hear a little more about who you are, what you do, and we'll take it from there.
I grew up in the San Francisco area with a live music background as multi-instrumentalist. Did that for many years and grew into a love of technology and recording equipment and instruments. After pandemic and that whole story, and we know what happened there. But my studio closed down in San Francisco, and I got the opportunity to work with Kashmir on his Splice Pack, the sounds of Kashmir. That's kind of what brought me down to LA and really ignited a passion for loop making and being a part of the pop process. And I was blessed to meet a lot of really cool people from that experience and be able to just get into the producer community, and especially in the hip hop world, because I grew up with a lot of that in the Bay Area, and R&B, neo soul stuff. So I do a lot of loop making and playing on tracks like that.
How has it been like being in LA, the capital of music, essentially?
Yeah, I mean, I remember I was telling my friend Kashmir that I was going to move down here, and he just looked at me for a second. He's like, "You'll enjoy it. A lot of people take it really seriously here." Kind of fast forwarding a few years, that statement really means a lot. Because I think here more than anywhere else, people really treat this like something that's incredibly serious and a passion that you can make a career out of. Whereas where I came from, there were some serious people, but more often than not, it was talking to people that worked in tech, and it was kind of like a novelty that I worked in music in the industry. So it's been cool to kind of find a community of people that I can chat about plugins with and random gear and
Plugins,
Yeah,
for example. Ever since like coming down to LA, how has that influenced your sonics?
I've become much more fascinated with just processing and kind of electronic production, especially working with Kashmir. I hadn't really gotten into the dance scene a lot before, and I didn't get too deeply into it, but I was able to kind of be adjacent and see what went on there, and see different communities of people and like how the music's created. So it's really been fascinating as an instrumentalist, because I can jump between a pop session and help there, and then do like loops for a hip hop session. It's kind of influenced me to be able to learn how to make the sonics fit, and then getting more into mixing as well, because I just really enjoy that process of the sonic shaping. There's so many people that are just incredible at that down here.
I've been asking everyone at the end of every interview a dumb question, and by the end of the series, we're going to find out what the people think. So, does pineapple belong on pizza?
Oh, that's terrible.
Terrible, no?
Pineapple and olives, like, I'm not going to like judge you terribly, but a little bit.
A little bit. So that's like a hard no. So
That's a hard no for me, yeah.
I'm going to make a very funny looking meter at the end, so we're going to put you all the way on the no. So guys, until next time, we'll catch you somewhere else. I really appreciate you also hopping onto the video.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
It's been awesome.
Yeah.
And so...
Plastic bars from a copy